into it and I'll show Kelly how it works. So the first thing I want to show you guys today in our top 20 countdown is a sales forecast report. So I love this report. It's in RQ and it's been there for a really long time. And here's why I like it. It's a really quick way where you can take all of your information from last year and compare it to this year, or last month compared to this month. I see a lot of people doing a very, very similar report manually or in BI, and that's cool if you want to do it that way, but it's actually right in RQ. So here's why it's cool. It's by category, so I've got, our devices up here, so it's showing all of the different types of devices. We can take a look at quantities, and what's cool is as a group we're actually selling more phones. So if you look at phones last year versus this year, we're selling more phones. And that is good. More is good. But at the same time, because this report is so detailed, it shows us quantity and sales and profit. So we look at that exact same report and we look at the profit, we're down 20% in profit. So we're selling more phones, costs are going up, and we're actually losing more money on phones this year than last year, even though we're selling more. So super important, really quick, easy report, because obviously we love to look at that kind of stuff, but it's not always just about the quantities, and this report's perfect for that. How do you feel? You want to try? You want to do one?
Yeah. No, one more. Give me one more.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So, number 19, Navigator widget. I love this widget. So I love this widget for a couple reasons. The company link section, very, very few people attending the summit actually use company links. So company links, you just set up a link and you put it on this widget, and then you put this widget on everyone's home screen, and you can do things like put your carrier's activation site right on there. You could put a direct fulfillment site or any other site that the carrier has right on their home screen. And why that's important, I can't tell you how many times I've been to a store and they have old links in their bookmarks, and then IT guys have to go out to every single store and update every single computer and update all of the bookmarks. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of computers out there that you're all updating, so it's really fast. So the other good thing is your commission plan. So most people have a somewhat complicated commission plan, and there's a document somewhere that you have that explains that. And if that ever changes, most people just email that document out, but you could just host it somewhere and put a link right on the home screen. So if there's ever a question, I'm new, quick click, there's my commission. Put all your partner products on there. Put your trade-in and your handset protection links right on there. And it's also good for BI logins, basically just any single link you would ever need to push out to all of the stores at once. The other cool thing about this widget is the computer shortcuts. So most people don't know that you can actually right-click and add a shortcut on there. So you see I just uploaded our agenda on here, so if I ever needed to get to it quickly, I would click on it and open up that document for me. So this is going to be really good for your rebate forms. Anyone who uses a printed secondary agreement, you can throw that on there. How do you feel now?
Well, since we're on the topic of widgets, let me try number 18 here. Let's try the what if widget. I'm not sure if you guys use it or not, but it's such a great motivational tool for your reps to maximize profit. So, and most of you probably already have everything you need set up already and just might not know it. So in this example, we are selling a 5S on a 2-year activation. We can add accessories and features, and on the bottom left-hand side, it'll show you how much the customer is going to pay for this. But best of all, your rep is going to see how much commission they are going to earn. So they're going to play around with this and get themselves the best deal, which is you guys getting the best. So a few things that you need to set up to make this widget successful is compatibility. Compatibility needs to be set up, your features to your rate plans and your accessories to your phones. Employee commission in RQ must be set up, and I know some of you don't track commission in RQ, but at minimum you have to have 100% GP set up so they see their gross profit. You can add other products such as handset protection and trade-in SKUs to just optimize it. How was that?
So good. So that was awesome, and now we just wanted to talk about things like that aren't typical in RQ, and you just have to use stuff a little differently.
Okay.
So residuals in RQ. So before anyone gets too excited, I'm not talking about automatic calculation of residuals because we do not do that. But here's the problem. Let's think about your monthly commission check that you get from the carrier. You get your basic commission, you get your disputes, you get chargebacks, unfortunately, and then a lot of people will get their residual payment. So RQ, of course, can track the monthly payments, the disputes that you put in there, the chargebacks, but what we don't track is the residuals. It's important for you to want to have residuals in RQ because you want it to be more accurate. So when you look at your pocket RQ or you look at a dashboard, you look at your sales reports, it's reflecting that gross profit. So it's very easy. Here's something really quick you could do. You could create a category for residuals. You put products in them. They're going to be vendor rebate products with no serial number required because we're not activating a residual. So all you have to do is once a month, sell out your residual SKUs. You've got some options. My example shows one residual SKU per store. You could also do just one lump sum SKU and just throw that in there. And that just depends on how much detail you want. So again, really easy, sell them out once a month at the beginning of the month. So once we get paid, fast forward a month later, and now you have all of your residual line items in your reconciliation screen, and there were 0, so mine were 0. So using the reconciliation screen, you change the amount. So you just type in and plunk in the amount that your residual payment was. Then RQ is going to ask you, well, where do you want to put that? Obviously, time frame wise. Obviously, we didn't get the residuals for this month, it's from last month or the month before that. So you just backdate it to the current month or the previous month or whatever month the residual is for. So what's cool about that is all of your numbers then reflect residuals. You don't have to pay employee commission on it. It tracks 0, so it's not affecting current month gross profit if anyone's looking at or trending off of that. But it does put it back into the date that you want. So historically, if you're looking and you look at last year or this year, now your residual amounts are reflected in there, and it's pretty neat.
So this is obviously not her first time. Let's lighten it up a bit. Let's talk about the easy no sale option. So for an example, AT&T dealers, we know you have a requirement to have live demos on the floor. So I've personally talked to some of you who had the experience of their rep selling out a demo phone. So we can prevent this, and just in the product details in the pricing tab on the right hand side here, no sale. Easy peasy.
Also super good for any phones that you get before you're actually allowed to sell it. So if you get a phone in stock on Friday, but you're not allowed to sell it till Monday, and then you've got reps whose friends might really entice them to let them buy it first and not go down the right path, you can just block them from not selling it. So here's one of my favorite things about the session in the summit is talking about all of the little hidden right clicks, because there's so many right clicks in RQ that a lot of people don't know about, and this is literally, I think, one of the best ones. So how many people in this room have ever had to suspend an employee's commission? Lots. Refund something in RQ just to fix commission. Had to calculate commission outside of RQ because there was something that we couldn't do. Yeah, lots of manual. So, commission ledger activity report. Number 1, if you don't use or know this report alone is phenomenal. It shows you every single line item of commission that was calculated in RQ, how it was calculated. Was it a spiff? Was it a percentage? Was it a split? Really, really good report. But we have this handy little right click on a line item and you reverse the commission. So what's cool about this is you're removing the commission, but it does it on today's date. So you may have reconciled something 3 months ago, whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter how old this line item was, the employee's going to see a negative or positive, whatever the reverse is, ledger on today's date. The other cool thing is that it doesn't affect your sales and gross profit. So if something happened and commission was either tracked incorrectly and you need to get rid of the commission, but you don't want to refund that line item because that affects your sale and the sale was legitimate, you just reverse the commission. Anyone pay gross profit? Anyone pay gross profit on the phones? You know how you get that negative dip of gross profit on the phone, and then if you get charged back, then the employee's left with that negative commission in RQ. So then you've got to take it out, and you've got all these manual steps. So imagine having this report in front of you, and I'd run it for like 6 months, just let it run, and then use the live search filter on that report, and grab the IMEI of the phone that's charged back, and let it find it really fast and reverse the entry. So you do have to do it one by one, but it fixes everything in RQ, and it makes RQ really way, way more accurate.
So speaking of right clicks, remember what I told you the other week that I found? Yeah, I bet you none of you guys know about it because I taught Stacy. So imagine, I'll explain it by example. So you're a sales rep, you're in the middle of a sale, customer's buying a whole bunch of stuff, and they're like, hey, come on, you see how much I got here? Can you give me a little bit of a discount? The rep's like, oh, they don't know their discounting threshold. So instead of having to go into the inventory, search for the product, you guys can right click on items right in the shopping cart and go to the product, just like that. Did you guys know that? Anybody know that? Yes. Did you? Oh, good for you.
We've got one person.
Yes. Hey, have you seen that really funny Kmart commercial?
I haven't.
Let's play it for these guys.
Have you guys seen the funny Kmart commercial?
Please. Here, let's check it out.
Ship my pants? Right here? Ship my pants, you're kidding.
You can ship your pants right here.
You hear that? I can ship my pants for free.
Wow, I just may ship my pants.
Yeah, ship your pants. Billy, you can ship your pants too.
I can't wait to ship my pants, Dad.
I just shipped my pants, and it's very convenient.
Very convenient.
I just shipped my drawers.
I just shipped my nightie.
I just shipped my bed.
If you can't find what you're looking for in store, we'll find it at Kmart.com right now and ship it to you for free.
So on the topic of shipping, how many of you guys have had to ship a transfer or ship some products from one location to the other location, accidentally set it to the wrong one, had to log into that ship to location, receive it, all that headache? So we get a lot of that in support. And this is so easy, you guys. If you didn't know this, I'm sorry you didn't know this, but transfer history report, track down that transfer, right click, cancel. Sorry, now you know.
I didn't think Kelly was going to get through that without laughing and saying shipping.
I know. And since I am support, I deal with a lot of reports. I troubleshoot with you guys every day, and I have some tips I want to share with you to help you guys do your reporting a little bit easier. So you guys know in Excel where you can scroll and freeze panes and whatever, and in RQ we have huge reports, and you have to scroll all the way to the right, and then you go all the way back to the left to compare some columns. You guys can freeze columns in RQ. So if you look in the top right corner of the screen, you're going to see these three little, well, it's really confusing. Let's just show the video.
Yeah.
You drag it over to where you need. And slide.
And slide.
And slide.
And slide. And
yeah.
slide.
Another handy little one is popping out your reports. So in Sport, we have two screens, so when we're troubleshooting things, it's usually you guys call in and you're like, this report is not matching this report, why not? And so we need to compare them side by side, and minimizing, we want it to be its own screen. So in the top right corner of the screen, you can hover over that, pop it out, make it its own window, put one on each screen, or for this example, we have it on one on the top, one on the bottom. So here we have reconcile vendor rebates. Everybody has disputes to deal with. Track it in the vendor rebates. Down at the bottom, we have the vendor rebate history report. You can check out if it's been edited or any information has been refunded. Just a little easy tip for you guys. So, number 11, restricting refunds. So if you're a sub-agent, a master dealer, or if you just have locations across states, you guys probably don't want somebody walking into your California location and refunding something in New York. So you guys can restrict this. You just go to your POS defaults, refunds, choose channel, region, district, or location.
So along the same lines, we also have the ability to restrict gift card redemption. So depending on your setup, again, this is very probably specific to master dealers or sub-agents. You don't want someone to buy a gift card at Kelly's store and then walk into my store and redeem it, because then where does the profit go? Where does the sales go? Why do I have to give the inventory but she already collected the cash? So it can be a little bit tricky, so very, very similar. Quick, easy setting in POS defaults. You want to restrict the gift card redemption to a certain level in the tree, a location, a region, a district, or a channel, and that just depends on how your database is set up.
One of my favorite things when I get a login to your guys' databases is seeing what you have for a background. Some are pretty cool, you know. So if this is yours, pay attention. No widgets, no pictures, come on. So, but most of yours actually, you do use our canned IQ metrics backgrounds, and I'm not discrediting these are great, they look nice. But, okay, yeah, for example, you're a Verizon dealer. This is probably the same background that a kiosk has down the hall from you, if they're a Verizon dealer. So you guys are unique. Let's show it. So your sales rep, every time they log in the morning, they're reminded that they work for wireless communications. Every time they log in, not just Verizon. You can even take it a step further. We have 4G wireless given away, or have unbelievable employee incentives. Like, I wouldn't mind working for 4G. If you look in the top left corner here, we have little reminders they added in there: clock in, clock out, take breaks, approve your punches. Just an extra tool that you guys could be using that you might not know about.
So one thing I hope everyone knows about is what an inventory adjustment reason code is. So what it is, you write off a product, you've got to say why, you choose a code. You change the cost of a product, why, choose a code. So by default, RQ has a big long list like this. And so if anyone's new or has been using RQ since before we had the ability to edit this, you can now, well, it's not new, but you can edit them and disable them and create your own. So you want to take this big list, because the more options we have, the more chance that we could choose the wrong one. And the more options that we have, if we're choosing all sorts of different ones, then your reporting becomes less accurate. So scale it back. Just disable the ones you don't want, add the ones you do want, keep it nice and clean, and think about what type of reporting do you want at the end of the day. So that's not what I want to talk about, but I talked about it for a really long time anyway. So here's what I want to talk about. You highlight one specifically. We're looking at theft. Someone steals a phone, you want to not have that just lumped in with the reason you're losing inventory. So every single reason code can be pointed to its own specific GL. So if I write off a phone for theft, that value of that phone is going to go to my theft GL account. If I change cost of product for price protection, that's totally different, so that's going to go into my price protection bucket. So you automatically separate out the cost or change in inventory to the right account. And on top of that, you get nice, clean reporting because you're using good, clean reason codes. So product labels. I go to a lot of stores and just mystery shop them for fun, because that's how fun of a person I am, that I love to mystery shop wireless stores. How many people have a gun like this? Lots?
Don't be embarrassed.
So we do price tags like this. So here's the problem with a price tag like this. Let's say Kelly's brand new at my company and she, doesn't truly know what's going on. We're going to trust Kelly on day one to print the right cost or price of the product, put it consistently in the same place, and then we're going to hope that when Kelly sells this product that she sells the barcode that's on the box, and then we're going to hope that the inventory manager actually has that barcode in the system so that it works. So would you rather have products in your stores that had a crappy one like this, or a nice, beautiful RQ4 one like this? Very nice and very different. What's really nice about the RQ barcodes is it prints a barcode, so you don't necessarily have to have all the manufacturer barcodes put into RQ. It's consistent, it's nice, it shows the price, and it shows the product. And what else is really nice about this is that when you receive a purchase order, there's this handy little button at the top that says print labels, and it will print one label for every single product that you received. You don't have to receive your products and then go into them by hand and then print them all off. You can just print them nice and clean. The other thing that's really cool about our barcodes that would save you a lot of time is for any carrier that can't automatically import the features if you're not using stock management or integration, you've got to choose all of your features by hand. So you could create one cheat sheet, print off labels of all your features or whatever products that you want, make a cheat sheet, and then when the rep is on the phone activation wizard, they just scan on all the features that you wanted. And you wouldn't even necessarily have to do that for every store. You would do one, and then you could just photocopy it and send it to everybody. So it's well worth the effort to create a little cheat sheet for all of those features or products that you can't scan because they're not a physical product.
Number 7, we're getting close, hey?
Getting close.
Less than 50% or less than half of our clients use sales messages, and I'm confused by it because the wireless industry is forever changing. You guys obviously know that. It's hard to know what promotions are going on, and there was a different one last week and now there's this one. So use sales messages. For an example, every time you are selling a new activation, you're going to give a customer $10 off a screen protector. Even though you probably have all great employees, but just throw in this and it's going to be a little reminder. You can also attach it just to refunds. So if someone's returning a phone, double check, make sure that phone charger's in there, and remind customer of the stocking fee. So it's a really quick setup just in your settings. You add a sale or refund, name it what you want to name it, write the message whatever you like, add it to locations, and add the products you want it to take effect on.
And what's great about the sales message is you set it up in bulk on the products and the stores. So you could all leave here and go set up a sales message and just automatically have them popping up starting this afternoon. So you can change up the sales messages all the time too. It's not set it now and have every single phone pop up the same message over and over, because then it just becomes nothing, right? I just get used to hitting the button. But if you mix it up and you change it and it's some products, then you actually start to get value out of the tool.
For reporting, how many of you guys have, you guys probably use the Excel, export to Excel, because you got to add and edit and add some columns. How many of you export and get gibberish? Easy fix. You go to your workstation settings and force all exports to Excel to be treated as text, and you get this.
So tracking store maintenance. So store maintenance is something that every single person in this room has. You've got to change light bulbs, a door's broken, whatever the case may be. You all have stuff that stores need to maintain to keep them functional. So most people I talk to just have no system for this. It's an email. You just send an email, and then hopefully that email gets read, and then hopefully someone does it, and then you've got to remember to follow up on it. And then if you ever want to know how many requests or how many times have we ever had to fix these different things, you don't know, unless you go into your emails and are really, really super organized about them. So here's a cool thing I saw someone do, and I loved it. Create yourself as a customer. Just create the location as a customer in RQ4. Then create an activity on the customer. And so this is me telling you, the corporate office, hey, there's something wrong at my store. The door won't shut. I need someone to come look at it. And I'm going to dispatch it to Nick at the corporate office so he can deal with it. So what's nice about this is it's consistent with training. You're already training them on RQ4. Hopefully you're already using activities. So it should be really easy for the stores to grasp how to do this. Best part of all, you can monitor them. So you get a running list of what's been requested, what's still open, historically, how many requests of store maintenance have you ever had to do. So again, I just like the consistency of it and how easy it would be to use.
Number 4, tax tips. Excellent. So this is great for anyone in California. You guys can add taxes to default on specific categories. So using California as an example, I know that you need to pay one tax for accessories and one tax for phones. You guys can come into the settings console in your category setup, and there's a little tab, tax defaults for new products, and add them for categories. And whenever you add a new product, it's going to default on there and you don't have to worry about adding it. Another one we hear in support often is tax-free weekends you guys get down in the States. We don't get those in Canada, a little jealous. But so we've had a couple calls, you know, Saturday morning being like, oh my gosh, my tax, I need it off and don't know how to handle it. Easy. Remember that you need to have tax added to the product and to the location for it to automatically add to a sale, right? So let's just remove it from the location if it's everything, right? But if it's product specific, then just remove it from the product SKU. And then quick fix adding it back on later.
So we're getting close. 3. So now we have 3 phenomenal security roles that are like literally going to change your life. Let's go into the first one.
I like this one. So one of my most dreaded calls in support is when someone calls in and they're like, my cash out is so messed up, I can't figure it out. I've already been looking at it for 2 hours, so then I'm like, oh gosh, how am I gonna do this? And often, it comes right to the cash in. So you had a sales rep who just assumed there should be $200 in the float, so they just typed in $200, but really maybe there was only $150, and your cash out's off. So you guys can force your reps to use the calculator to type in each individual bill. And in the setting, yeah, it's just new cash in, store clerk, force calculator.
1 click, problem solved. Here's another security role that I think a lot of people don't know about, and it really changes how a rep would function in our queue. So think about the phone activation wizard, and then think about the outright phone sale. So customer walks in, they want to sell or buy a phone outright, and what the rep typically does is they press no term, and that cancels the wizard and it sells the phone for full retail price. So the problem with that is you don't get any visibility into a no-term sale in that way, because there's nothing saying you sold that phone without an activation. You just sold that phone. There's very little margin to be made on an outright phone sale, so we want to make sure we monitor them and not let it happen too often. So what you can do is you can see how I took away the no term button. So now I cannot, as a rep, I have no choice but to go through the phone activation wizard. So you can create a fake rate plan and a fake term called outright or no sale, and just force them through it. And now you have a SKU called no term or outright phone sale, and now you can report on it. Is it one rep? Is it one store? And figure out why you're selling so many phones outright. Really easy, it's just a security role, and it's actually called no term sale impa. Another security role, hugely important, is about, purchase order console. So if I want to receive a purchase order, I've got to, number 1, click on inventory, and then I've got to click on purchase orders, and then you're hoping I find the right purchase order and click receive, and then receive on the right purchase order. Anyone ever received on the wrong purchase order here? Is that ever a nightmare to clean up? So what we can do is we can just take that purchase order tab away. So we're just going to block it. So now I'm a rep, I can't get to that big ugly list of purchase orders and try to find the right one. Literally the only way I can receive a purchase order is by scanning it in. And you'll see our magic bar has moved to the top of the screen. So you guarantee that they receive on the right purchase order, because that's the only way to get it. It's super easy. It's just purchase order console, receive by scanning only. So we're getting super close. Number 2, our favorite, new features.
The inventory listing report, you guys, now has an as of date. So I've actually heard stories of, someone not going out on New Year's because they had to sit at the office and run that report, and took forever. So it's super exciting. Also, we have the location imports. So you guys buy out a few other locations, want to add them quickly to your database. You have it on an Excel file already. Import it in. Boom.
So transaction authentication has got to literally be one of the oldest things that has been requested from IQ Metrics, and people have always said, can't you just make it so that when I tender a sale, I've got to type in my username and password so you know who I am? Can't you just make the rep have to verify who they are before they receive that transfer so that Kelly doesn't walk up to my instance and then receive that transfer? Anyone ever wanted that? So that's what this will do, is we'll have a screen and you just check off what screens do you want to ask for that username and password, and it authenticates them before they can go on. And the last is credit card notifications for approvals and voids. And I know Ken showed that in the product announcements today, and I know Kelly would agree with this, is the amount of calls that we get for a sale where it's tendering and then the rep closes it because they think it's not working, and then half the sale goes through, but then there's no invoice. And did that actually get approved? And then I closed it, or I swiped 2 credit cards and I don't know which one got declined. And like all the millions of trillions of error messages and problems that can go wrong when you sell with a credit card. So now we actually have pop-ups that will show you all of what's happening on the screen and not to close the sale, and what part was approved and what part was declined. And I cannot tell you how much time this is going to save you from having to research that, because the reps will be able to educate themselves on what's going on. You guys ready for it? Number 1. In our top 20 first time ever Stacy and Kelly countdown is our donations module. So our donations module is something that's really important to us. It doesn't matter if you have 1 store, it doesn't matter if you have 1,000 stores. You could use this module. So we talk to so many people, and you guys do phenomenal things. And a lot of people don't bring the charity piece back into RQ so we can help you and assist. Our CEO has always thought, imagine as a group what we could do together. Because if we have all of these stores and all of these retailers all focusing on something to give back to their community, how big of an impact we could have. It could be absolutely inspiring to see as a group what we could do with this. So it's incredibly easy to use. If you have it turned on, it's just going to say, hey, do you want to donate to the charity that you guys have set up? Yeah, I want to add my $1. Okay, I'm going to donate it. You'll see it adds it to the total of my invoice. And then depending on what you want, it's actually going to print and say, thank you for supporting this charity. Here's what our goal is. Here's where we're at. If you want more information, here's a link. The setup is phenomenally easy, per location, date range, really, really easy. One of our core values at IQ Metrics is community. We do so much giving back. We work with Habitat for Humanity in all of the cities where we have offices. We did Habitat at CTIA in New Orleans a few years ago. We had a cool opportunity to do some volunteering in Chan, Mexico as a group. We work with food banks, kids sports. Where actually every employee in the whole company is awarded 1 day a quarter to volunteer for a cause of their choice. One foundation you may know that we work really closely with is Free the Children. And we were thrilled this year to be able to double our donations budget as a company. A lot of that was with Free the Children, and I'm going to pass it over to Kelly so she can tell you why donations got #1 in our top 10 and why it's so near and dear to our hearts.
So, IQ Metrics has been supporting a small village in rural India for the last 3 years. And 9 IQers got the most incredible opportunity to go and visit this past summer. We got to tour the school that our funds helped build, and it's an unforgettable experience to build a tie and bond with the community halfway across the world. As you can see, Stacy and I were 2 out of those 9 IQers that got the incredible opportunity to go. We're very fortunate. You guys, to work for a company that offers those opportunities to their employees and to people in need all over the world is I couldn't even think of a better reason, or I'm sorry, I'm gonna cry. It's just the most rewarding feeling to work for a company that cares that much. Not only did I go to India this year on behalf of IQ Metrics, I'm standing here in front of you today. I'm feeling recognized, appreciated, and trusted. So thank you, IQ Metrics. Thank you for being so amazing. And I hope that some of this awesomeness is rubbing off on you guys out there right now, and that you're going to maybe take this initiative and share it with your employees. We challenge you, Stacy and I, and on behalf of IQ Metrics, to use this donation module. We have Christmas season coming up. Let's see what you guys can implement, and we want to hear all about your initiatives and results, and you share them with us next year at Summit 2014.